Now, the company called SolarReserve is taking the lead on this particular $700 million project. They have technology that uses supercharged salt. Kevin Smith is the chief executive of SolarReserve. He's got more than 2 decades in the energy business's experience, and he joins us now. Kevin Smith, welcome to Bloomberg.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Give us the highlights of this $700 million project. It's going to be in Nevada. This is a new project that's going to be started. Explain what's going to happen.
That's correct. It's a technology that was developed by United Technology Corporation that provides storage through the use of molten salt. So we can run utilizing solar energy day or night. In Nevada, the peak requirements of the utility are more upwards to 10 o'clock at night. So we can provide nice, firm supply of solar power, just like a conventional coal or natural gas or nuclear facility. It's a big project. It's going to provide electricity for around 75,000 homes at the peak output. Creates about 600 jobs on site, upwards to 4,000 direct and indirect jobs with the suppliers throughout the U.S. And once the project's in operation, we have about a $10 million operating budget. We'll pay upwards of $40 million over the first 10 years in local taxes to fund fire departments and schools and those kinds of things. So it's a great win for American technology. This is technology developed in the U.S. We're looking to export that technology around the world. So this is a fabulous program with the Department of Energy. We've had tremendous amount of support from the DOE and from Senator Reid's office in Nevada and in D.C. So we're excited to get this project under construction.
Can you explain a little bit more about the technology? We've got to learn about something called heliostats and how you use mirrors. It's similar perhaps to using a magnifying glass to concentrate the power of the sun. What happens when you've concentrated that power? What does it do to salt? It heats it, what, to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit?
Correct. I mean, basically, the concept of the project, and there was a pilot project that was developed in the 1990s with the Department of Energy and United Technology Corporation's subsidiary Rocketdyne. Smaller project. This is a commercial-sized project. Essentially, we've got a large tower with a heat exchanger that sits at the top. Through that heat exchanger runs a fluid, and it's surrounded by thousands of mirrors that focus the sun's energy on that point at the top of the tower. Through that tower runs molten salt. Initially, it's at about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. As the sun warms up that molten salt as it runs through the tubes in the tower, it heats it up to about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The advantages of using molten salt rather than, say, water, which once you heat up water to that temperature, it flashes into steam and then you have to use it. The advantages of utilizing molten salt is once it's at high temperature,
we're going to have you hold the salt for just a second,
okay.
Kevin Smith. We've got more with the chief executive of SolarReserve. Kevin Smith, you're talking about how you use molten salt. You say it's better than heating water. The molten salt retains the heat, which allows you to produce electricity whenever we need it, not just when the sun is shining, right?
That's correct. It can be stored in a tank in a liquid form, as opposed to water that flashes into steam. So we can store that energy and run after the sun goes down on cloudy days, like a conventional power project.
Now, let's talk about the cost of producing all this. You're getting the $700 million grant. You're going to be working to build this project in Nevada. What does it cost to produce the electricity versus fossil fuel?
Well, first of all, the Department of Energy Loan Guarantee Program isn't a grant; it's a loan, and so it's a loan that's provided through the Federal Financing Bank with the Department of Energy Loan Guarantee. So we're paying interest on a 20+ year loan. It's around a 5% interest rate, more than I'd get on I pay on my home mortgage. So we're actually fully funding the loan and the loan guarantee program and paying the financing fees, those kinds of things. So it's not
you and your private equity backers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what about the cost of generating this electricity? Is it competitive?
Well, it's competitive when you look over the term of the contract, and we've got a 25-year power contract with NV Energy. Because there's no fuel escalation costs on that, we've got a nice flat profile on our electricity cost, and we believe it's competitive if you really looked at the overall costs of other forms of energy, including coal-based, natural gas, nuclear. When you look at the environmental issues as well.
What about tax credits for companies that want to support solar energy?
Well, there are tax credit programs both for solar and the wind programs, but in reality, there's also tax credit programs that still operate for oil, natural gas, coal, and nuclear facilities. So really, all forms of energy get some subsidies from the federal government. We think that the focus should be on renewable energy. Certainly, that's the trend worldwide, and really, the U.S. needs to pick up the pace on renewable energy, and this is a great step with the help of the Department of Energy for the U.S. to go forward on new technologies.
All right, I want to thank you very much, Kevin Smith. He's the Chief Executive of SolarReserve.